What's up, everybody? My name is Parasite. Welcome back to the Jose Mourinho Challenge with Chelsea. Today we take on Manchester United once again in the Premier League, this time at Stamford Bridge. Only the one game this episode. We were going to play Arsenal, but the game got rescheduled because of the FA Cup. And then I was going to play Newcastle, who are currently sitting 5th in the Premier League. But, we made some changes last episode, some tactical decisions. I kind of want to go over how those have worked since we made those changes. And, we are in a transfer window and some stuff has gone on. Don't love it, but need to fill you in on, well, one thing I do love. I'll show you one thing I do love. But so I want to fill you in on that. And I also want to do a little update on where Sporting currently sit January 25th, 2031. When it comes to the Premier League table, we currently sit second behind Manchester United, but we do have a game in hand over them. So depending on today's result, if we win our game in hand, we could go top. But the recent schedule has been pretty good. We have won every single game since we debuted that new tactic against Stoke. 6 games, 6 wins. Start off, we played Wolves, and we got a 4-0 win away from home. One of the tactical changes we decided to make didn't really work against Manchester United, but the decision we make is that away from home, I wasn't liking our performances. We were not playing very well. We're getting decent results, some that weren't, but we were getting mostly decent results. I just didn't like the performances. We weren't playing as well as we should. And so I decided to make a change to use our more higher tempo, counter-attacking style. And the first game after Manchester United tested out against was Wolves, and we smashed them 4-0. And most importantly, the performance was so much better. Looking at their performances before we made this change, away from home in all competitions. First, before that Manchester United match, we played Leeds away from home, and we did get the win, but the performance just wasn't great. It was far too even. Leeds, a mid-table to bottom half side, and it should not be that even. We're second in the Premier League. We have a lot more talent than them. We're paying a lot more for that talent. We should be better, and we just really weren't. And it was a similar thing in the rest of our away games. Bristol City, a loss away from home, 2-1. Again, far too even. We probably didn't deserve to lose, but we didn't deserve to win either, and we should. They were in the relegation zone. We should not have had this much trouble with Bristol City. And it's every single away game in November and December. Next one is Manchester City, which is a difficult team, and it's a good to get a win, but again, wasn't super convincing. But I don't know if you can really look into that based on the caliber of the opposition. That's not really where I'm worried. It's about the mid-table and lower sides and, lower league European sides like Galatasaray that we were struggling against. Because even though we did get a good win away from home against Galatasaray, 3-0, the performance still wasn't as good as I'd like. They had far too many chances than I think they should. We did get the win, maybe deserved it, but definitely didn't deserve to win 3-0. Just the performances just were not good enough, and it continued. Fulham, another good win, 3-1, but again, the performance not good enough. They had a sending off, and we still was very even. They had more shots than us. Our XG was significantly higher, but they still were far too into the game. And we've seen the AI can be insanely clinical, so if you give them that many shots, they're going to score quite a few of them. Then the last game, actually before that, Standard, the last game kind of where we struggled away from home, lost 2-1 in the Europa League. Again, another team we shouldn't be losing to. I don't care where we're playing. We were better than them. We didn't deserve to lose, but XG-wise, it wasn't that significant, even though we had so many more shots. We just gave them a lot of good chances, and I think defensively it has been the issue. But offensively, we've not been doing as well either, good enough either. The last match where we actually played well away from home, playing our more possession style, was West Brom, a 2-0 win, and the performance was as I would want it to be. This is what this should be looking like when it's Chelsea playing West Brom, no matter where they're playing. Now, cut to the 2 games we played since we made that change after the Manchester United match. And it is a small sample size, but the returns look pretty good. And dominating victory against Wolves, 4-0. And deserved. They had 2 shots, 0 on target. We were very good. And then skipping over these ones, we played Everton away from home and got another win, 2-0. And again, it was dominant. 19 shots to 3, 12 shots on target to 1. These are the performances that I expect from this team. And playing this higher tempo style, we're finally getting them. The other 4 matches we played was the easiest stretch of the season so far. We took on West Brom once again, this time at home. And we used the tactic we used against Stoke, that 3 at the back, kind of wild, but it really worked against Stoke, and it's worked in these 4 games as well. It might not really look like it, looking at West Brom 3-2, but they didn't deserve their 2 goals. They were okay. They had 1 XG and got 2 goals. We had 3 XG and got 3 goals, but we had 32 shots. Defensively, I wasn't super happy, but we had so much attacking, 32 shots, 15 on target, that it kind of makes up for it a little bit. It's not like the other away games that we played where it was even. It wasn't even. They were in it more than I think they should be, but it definitely wasn't even. And we did get a deserved win, 64% possession as well. And then Blackburn, who were in the championship, a 5-1 win in the EFL Cup, and it was in dominant fashion. 3 shots, 1 on target, 65% possession, plenty of shots, good XG. And then Woking, who are a Vanarama National League, so we can kind of ignore this one. It was a weak squad out we put out there, but they still dominated, as they should, 70% possession. And then Blackburn, once again, away from home. It's already pretty much tied up after that 5-1 win, but we won it too, away from home, and again, pretty dominant. 18 shots to 5, 11 shots on target to 1, 64% possession. Early returns from this tactic have been pretty promising. We have played bad sides, but that's who you're meant to play this tactic against. You're not meant to play this against Manchester United. It's probably not going to work. Unless you have 10 minutes left and you desperately need a goal, then maybe throw this out there. But you try to play this an entire game against Manchester United in 2031, you're going to get whooped, most likely. So I'm obviously not using that today. But against teams that are kind of bottom of the league, maybe home matches against teams kind of more mid-table to a little bit lower half, definitely something you can bring out, and I think it gives you good results, and we've seen good things so far. Now we are in a transfer window, pretty late into it as well, in the 25th of January, and there are some areas of the team I would like to improve, but unfortunately I haven't really been able to. Going into January, we had $139 million in the transfer budget and over $1 million a week in the wage budget, and well, now we have $1 million in the transfer budget and negative $9,000 in the wage budget. I didn't spend $129 million. I didn't spend $1 million on wages. They just took that money from us. But I can kind of understand why. Yeah, we have a negative $42 million balance. I'm not exactly sure why. I'm guessing just because we didn't have Europe last year. Like, that is probably the main factor it's so bad. And, I mean, I will accept that $171 million is a lot of money and could make things a little difficult, on top of another 50 for Mike Fromm, 95 for Bruno Thiago. I might have went a little crazy, but I think we'll get in a decent financial position soon enough. Now that we're back in Europe, we'll be in the Champions League, hopefully, next year. Hopefully that'll fix our money issues, and maybe we'll be offloading some players. We had good finances at Sporting, and I think it's a matter of time that'll be good here again at Chelsea. But it's not like we didn't bring in money as well. 40 million for Hudson-Odoi, 87 for Kalulu. But still, the financial position, not great. So we haven't had any money to spend. But we do have one out, and thank the Lord, it has happened. Edouard Mendy is finally going to leave. We have accepted probably a dozen transfer offers from him, and he's turned all of them down, except for this one, to Krasnodar. I don't know why. But he wants to go to Krasnodar, apparently. It's for basically no money, but it's wages. I want to get his wages off the books. I don't want to ever play him again. He's on 120K a week. There's no reason to spend that money, especially with the financial position we're in. So he's going to leave on the 26th, so tomorrow he's going to leave, and I will be very thankful. We are spending 20K, paying 20K a week of his wages. We had to include that, otherwise I don't think he would have ever accepted a contract. So we're paying 20 of the 120, but I think it's only for the rest of this season because his contract expires after this season. I think after that, we're completely off the books on Mendy. We can wipe the record clean that Mendy was ever at this team, and we can move on without Edouard Mendy as our goalkeeper and with Giovanni Herrazzo, who has been fantastic, even if we did spend 171 million for him. Speaking of Herrazzo, how did Sporting do? Well, they currently sit top. Whoops, wrong competition. They currently sit top of the League of Portugal, 10 points ahead of Benfica with the game in hand. I think we've set them up pretty well. But they have made some pretty decent business since I left. They still have, some of the players we brought in there. Luca Carna dominating 17 goals. Malo Gusto 7.61 playing extremely well. Nick Cooper 7.54. But they've also sold some players. Two of these on this list. If we look at their squad, how do I get back there? They have, let's go to their transfer history actually. They have sold Malo Gusto. He's gone to Atletico Madrid for 51 to 61 million. Far too cheap in my opinion. He should be going for 80 at least. 80 at the absolute minimum. He is 27 years old, but I noticed this as well. They are paying Malo Gusto 600K a week. That is insane. For some reference, my highest earner is Kai Havertz on 450. That is absolutely ridiculous. Like, I understand why he would want to leave. That is just life-changing money, but good lord. Like, Malo Gusto is amazing, but still. Is he the highest paid player on their team? Like, he kind of has to be. Otherwise, they are not in a great spot. He is. By 75K a week. Wow. That is a lot of money for a right back, especially when they already have Singo. I guess I could play Singo at winger, or they could play Malo Gusto at midfield, which he can do, but I don't know why you would. Interesting. We'll say that. Interesting. But going back to Sporting, they've also sold a youngster, Heleno, young left back, 23 years old, Brazilian. Developed okay. Just, I don't think he was ever going to be a starter for Sporting or really us, so he's gone to PSV. In terms of ins, they've not really made any business this transfer window, but they did make some business towards the beginning of the season. One pretty big one, Ruben Neves. Pretty good signing for Sporting. He's still really good. 33 years old. As a deep-lying playmaker, he's a kind of a player that can stay good well into his late 30s even. So I think that's a really good signing for Sporting. They also signed Machuca, a center back from Liverpool as well. Decent player. Not exceptional. Okay depth, but I'd never want to rely on him as a starter. They signed Omar from Gremio, a striker, for $63 million. A player that's actually on my radar. Pretty good player. Like, as a backup, he'd be a great option. 205K a week is a lot of money, though. Definitely more than I ever spent. A couple more signings. Dangala from Bruges, 33 million. A right back that could also play center back, but he's 5'11" with 10 jumping reach. So I would play him at right back. Maybe their Malo Gusto replacement, I guess, now that Malo Gusto's left. And then also their replacement for the goalkeeper that we stole from them, Harazo, who they thought they were going to have back on loan until, well, Mindy happened. And they bought Juan Musso to replace him for very cheap money, 3.2 million. He is 36 years old, but he's still really good. He's an amazing shot stopper. A player that also was on my radar before I signed some other of our goalkeepers. Pretty affordable wages as well, 83K. He's not 20 years old like Giovanni Harazo, but he's still really good. And for how little they spent for him, I think that's some really good business. In terms of the rest of the roster, Nick Cooper looks like he is also leaving. And I really hate to see that, because if he left, I wanted him to leave to Chelsea, because he is obviously a player that we bought from Chelsea. So he's homegrown at club, but we don't have any money. And so we don't really have an option. And the annoying part is that the whole reason he's transfer listed by request is because I was interested in him. So we've kind of helped out Newcastle by upsetting Nick Cooper, and now he looks like he's going to Newcastle. And that's annoying, because it'll be extremely difficult to buy him from Newcastle for any sort of fee, because they can offer obviously insane wages. And, you know, the English tax, especially once they get to England, is insane. So Nick Cooper might be out of our grasp, unfortunately. The rest of their team, Mateus Nunez is transfer listed by request. A little sad. Some of the core players there, looks like they might be leaving. Some other players, Sugo is kind of in and around their squad this year, doing a decent job. Who else? Get him. Santos is playing a lot and playing very well. He's doing a very good job, and he's got a contract to 2035. Looks like he's going to be kind of the next Mateus Nunez as a long-term midfielder for Sporting. But another long-term midfielder might be leaving, and this one hurts. João Palina is transfer listed, and he has been for a while, and I think his contract is just going to run out. It runs out in 2031. They ain't renewing it. So João Palina, 35 years old, been at Sporting, other than the loans, for basically his entire career. I would not have let him go, personally. But I guess they don't have the attachment I do. Some other players, Pedro Gonzalez, still there, 32 years old. 22 to 26 million is his price. So, like, if we needed that kind of player, definitely be interested in bringing in Pedro Gonzalez. He's still really good. Who else they got? Karna, still there, still playing extremely well, still wanted. But they want a lot of money for him, as they should. He's amazing. Ruan is transfer listed by request as well. He was a player that never seemed to be in the plans of the new manager. We loaned him the first season, and now he's transfer listed. He's barely played one sub appearance all year. They just don't realize how good this guy is, because Ruan was amazing for us. He was so good for us. Look at these average ratings. The manager's done a great job, but you gotta play Ruan. And also another center back that's leaving is Bartol Franjic, and he looks like he's going to Real Madrid. Weird transfer. I mean, he's good. He's fine. As a depth option for Sporting, yeah, but I mean, Real Madrid seems a little weird, but I do like him. He's got good versatility. He's solid basically in every position we played him at. So that's enough for the preamble. We want to get to the main course, and that's Manchester United. We are looking for a little bit of revenge after they beat us last time out, and we are just an absolutely awful shooting effort by us. We didn't have a shot on target till like 80 minutes in. Hopefully we do a little bit better today. We are at home. Hopefully that'll help. But we're still playing the same kind of style. Maybe it might not be the smartest thing considering it didn't work the first time, but we've seen it work, and I know it can work against teams that kind of caliber. We beat Man City playing this way, away from home. So we know we can do it, and we've got pretty much a full strength squad to do it. Thiago up top, Pino and Havertz, Gavi, Mount comes in because annoyingly Mariba is at AFCON. Hate that. So Mount comes in, but Mount's actually been playing extremely well. 7.62 in his last 5, 7.55 on the season. So literally, if there's any position to be missing a player from, that's probably it. Mount is probably our best backup option. Defensive midfield, Camavinga goes in there. Backline, Ruggeri, Badiashile, Cerezo, James, and Harazo in net. Leads on the bench, Mancini, Jimmy Wong, Reguilon, Kessie from Zvonarek, kind of as an advanced playmaker option today. Kendrick as a wing option, Sterling and Sesko. A couple of players I thought about maybe selling to fund some other transfers. If I was going to bring somebody in, Sterling would be an option. He's getting up there in age, 36 years old. But with that 20 natural fitness, his physicals are still holding up. And I have given him another year contract. He did take a pretty big wage cut as well, which was very nice. But he's still a solid player, and he's actually playing pretty well for me right now. 7.1 in his last 5. Even if his average rating on the season isn't amazing, not too bad, actually, for a 36-year-old especially. And another one I thought about possibly leaving was Reguilon. He is wanted, one of the few players on our team that I'm willing to let go that is wanted. But his value is only like 1 to 3 million. He's on 90K a week. I'd not be able to replace him with a player anywhere close to his caliber if I let him leave, especially now that I have no money. So I just can't reinvest that in a player anywhere as good as Reguilon, even though Reguilon has not been good for us basically since we bought him. So let's take on Manchester United. Let's keep our good form going. Let's go top of the league. First highlight of the match is 5 minutes in, starting with a goal kick from Giovanni Harazo. So far, there's been one shot in the game. It's been from Manchester United, and it wasn't on target. So pretty slow start. We're looking to build up from the back until Ruggeri goes long, and they win the header, and it goes to Bruno Fernandes, who finds the ball over the top of Adeyemi. He's got amazing speed, and he's through on goal, but he was offside, so wouldn't have counted. This has been a very poor, slow game. We're 34 minutes in, and really neither team's done much. 3 shots for us, 2 for them, and basically no XG. They've had a lot of possession, but they've not really done much with it. Reece James is going to win this header down, though. Maybe we can go on a little bit of counterattack. They've got some men going forward. Bruno Thiago is going to look for his help. He finds Gavi. Gavi with a chance to get in the back of the net, but he can't. Gavi just not a goal scorer. We're going to see this corner, though. Who's taking this? It is Yeremy Pino. We've got some pretty big men at the far post. He's looking for Cerezo, just not going to get there. He's going to head it out for a throw. That's probably how the highlight ends. But unlike last time, we've got an immediate highlight once again. It's going to be a header won by Reece James once again. From this throw-in, Bruno Thiago is going to pick this up. He's going to look for a ball to Yeremy Pino, and he's going to get there. He's going to go back to Gavi. Finds Mount. Back to Yeremy Pino. Into Thiago. Go back to Pino. A little bit fortunate with the deflection off the defender who tries to slide in and win it. It falls right back to Yeremy Pino, but a good finish. We have, in those kind of situations, we have fluffed it more often than not. Either hit it directly at the goalkeeper or not even put it on target. But Pino does very well here. A little fortunate with the sliding challenge, but he finds the near post. Good finish. It looks like that might be how we go into halftime. And it is a lead that I would say deserved. We've been the better team pretty significantly. 5 more shots on target, 5 more shots in total. In terms of chances, they've actually had one more half chance, but they've not been super high quality apparently. Only 0.27 XG. They've had a lot of possession, but they've not done much with it. This is kind of how we're trying to play this tactic. We don't really care about possession. We want to create chances, and good ones, and score them. And we've done that so far. We're going to start this second half like we started the first with a goal kick from Giovanni Harazo. Hopefully it can go a little bit better than the first highlight did, though. Hopefully we can get another goal and extend our lead. Gavi's going to look for Yeremy Pino. He's been fantastic today. Everything's been going through Yeremy Pino and Gavi, who had that miss earlier. Bruno Thiago looking for a ball to Kai Havertz, but he can't finish at the near post, quite like Yeremy Pino could. Throw in for Manchester United 67 minutes in. We've defended really well so far today. Hopefully that wasn't the kiss of death. Moise Kean on the ball. He's going to go back to Contreras. He's going to look inside to Jamal Musiala. Bruno Fernandes playing in a little bit deeper role today, looks like. Reece James, though, has been a rock defensively. Not really a guy you expect to do a lot of heading, but he's headed a lot of balls away. Gavi's going to find Yeremy Pino through on goal. All of our attacks have gone through Yeremy Pino. He's going to look to get it on his right foot, but a good sliding challenge. And Manchester United are going to hand the ball back. New signing Andrade. They spent like 130 million on him. Very good winger from France. But he's going to give the ball away, and we're going to look to attack again. Mason Mount's going to look for a through to Thiago. Can he finish it? Good save from Buisson. It's going to go over for a corner. And we got a little bit of a threat from corners. Badiashile has been pretty good from set pieces. Ruggeri to take it near post. There's Badiashile. And there you go. I said he's been good for set pieces, and what does he do? He scores a header from a set piece. And with that, we are 2-0 up and fully deserved. We've been pretty good today. A big difference from the last time we played Manchester United. I mean, just look at those match stats. That is a dominating performance. Possession, even though we do like to have possession in the matches we should be winning, in these kind of matches, I don't really rate possession that much because look at what they've done with it. When you're playing another good team, you want to create chances. We've done that. They haven't. But unfortunately and annoyingly, with this win, which it looks like we are going to be getting, we're not going to go top of the table because Liverpool are actually going top of the table, but we do have a game in hand over them. So technically they're top, better goal difference. We still can flip that if we can get another goal. But I'd like to be on top of the table. I hate Liverpool kind of ruining that for us right now. We've got a free kick in a good area now, about 87 minutes in. Yeremy Pino to put this one away, even if it isn't already away, which it pretty much is. He's going to take it, and he's going to score it. A very good free kick by Yeremy Pino, and that makes it 3-0. That puts it beyond doubt. We'll be leaving Stamford Bridge with all 3 points, and that might... Oh, it looks like Liverpool just scored as well. I was going to say that might put us top of the table, but Liverpool scored a 5th, so unfortunately, they're still going to be top, but big win over Manchester United. Yeremy Pino looking for another, but instead he's going to go short to Cerezo. Into front Kessie. He's come on for Mason Mount. He's going to find Camavinga. Can we get a 4th even? Gavi, from the edge of the area, is going to look to pull it back instead of going for it. He should have just shot there. We're 3-0 up. Sterling getting played through. Come in on as a sub as well. It's going to find Sesko, also on as a sub, but gets blocked. Going to go out for a corner. We've already scored one of these. I don't think we need necessarily to score another. 3 minutes left. They're not coming back. I would like to embarrass them, though. So if we can get another, I would prefer that. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But Manchester United have not really shown up today. They haven't really done much. Defensively, they've not been very good. Offensively, they've done very little. And it looks like we're going to be leaving here with all 3 points. Liverpool ahead on 1 goal in goal difference, but a big win over the team that was top of the table. We get our revenge for that 1-0 loss away from home.
That has to be a satisfying win for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been shy in vocalizing my disappointment with our performances in the past couple of months, but we made some tweaks, and I feel like we're performing really well right now. And I think this result perfectly encapsulates that. To get a good win where we looked very good against a top team in Manchester United. I couldn't be happier.
How long do you think Chelsea can stay unbeaten? Can it really last?
We all know that these things can't last forever. Both the spirit and fight in that dressing room, we all know and believe that we can win every single match we play. But eventually, when you're in the competitions that we're in, the Champions League, the Premier League, we are playing some of the best teams in Europe week in and week out. Eventually, one of them will get it over on you. But we don't hang our heads. We just look to push forward and start a new streak. Yeremy Pino gets man of the match. He was tremendous going forward with those 2 goals. And just his play in general, he was very good. But I want to give a little shout out to Reece James as well. I feel like we defended really well as a team. But specifically Reece James, I thought he was tremendous. Nobody was getting past him. That is a huge win. After a little bit of a rough patch, we are playing really well once again. And we really showed it there with a dominating victory over Manchester United. Hopefully we can keep this form going, but it's not going to be easy. We've got a tough stretch coming up. Newcastle twice, who are currently 5th. West Ham should be a winnable match, but it is away from home. Another test of how that away tactic performs against teams, relatively the same size as Everton. and Wolves. Newcastle, obviously. Leicester in the FA Cup 4th round. Not an easy draw, especially when there are some League 2 and League 1 teams in there. We get Leicester, of course. Then Arsenal in the Premier League. They're sitting 4th. Leeds should be winnable, 16th. But the last time we played them away from home, we didn't play very well. This one is at home, and we've been playing well, so hopefully we play well that game. And then, well, we play Manchester United again. It'll be the 3rd time in 4 months, I played Manchester United. This one in a cup final. We are in the EFL Cup final. Our first final with Chelsea. Don't check. Literally our first ever final with Chelsea. Our first chance at silverware. And we're facing Manchester United. So I feel like I have to show this one, even if it doesn't have a whole lot of context to the series as a whole. It's a big match. In our first full season here at Chelsea, I feel like we kind of need to show this one. And then we've got the Europa League, the second knockout round. We were able to skip the first knockout round because of the fact we won our group. So we'll be joining at the second knockout round. The first knockout round hasn't been played yet, so we don't know who we're going to get. But hopefully it's not some of the better teams in the competition. We've not gotten super lucky when it comes to draws, basically in this entire series. So hopefully we can get a little bit of fortune there. So I'll see you next episode for our first ever cup final with Chelsea. Definitely first ever cup final. And we're playing Manchester United for the 3rd consecutive episode. And then we'll have our return to European knockout football. If you made it this far, why don't you like the video, subscribe, and click the bell. The links to all my socials and my Twitch are in the description. I really appreciate all your support. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you next time.